Hey guys, how you going on this absolutely freezing winter's day? Today we're going to discuss the word dodgy, which is very similar to the word crook. But today we're only going to do two meanings of the six that I can think of because it's a massive topic. Yeah, as I said, these words can be very similar in meaning, but they can't always be used in the same way. So the first meaning today is means to be untrustworthy, not honest. So with a person, you could say that guy's dodgy or that bloke's dodgy. Bloke is an Aussie word for man. Don't trust him. So in this way, it's very similar to the word crook because you could say that guy's a crook, maybe a small-time crook. So, for example, a dodgy guy, someone who looks dodgy, he doesn't look very honest and trustworthy, could come up to you in the pub and say, "Hey, mate, I've got this laptop for sale for it's really cheap. Do you want to buy it?" And you say, "Oh, where did you get it?" And he says, "Oh, it fell off the back of the truck," which is an expression meaning that it's basically been stolen, you know. So here we've got the two meanings of the word dodgy in slightly different ways: a dodgy guy or a dodgy deal. So a dodgy guy does dodgy deals. So you don't want to be doing dodgy deals with dodgy guys. Okay. So yeah, you don't want to be doing a dodgy deal with a crook. Okay, a small time crook. So we talked about this in class, and we also talked about we went further with this, and we talked about corruption. Corruption in some countries. I mean, there's corruption in every country, but in some countries more so than others. Australia now is it's pretty good in that way. There's not too much corruption. Of course, it still happens, but it's really being scrutinised these days. There's cameras everywhere, and people are being watched. So things have been tightened up a lot, and nowadays it's pretty rare for someone to be caught being dodgy. We talked about police and politicians in some countries being very dodgy. Let's start with the police. In some countries that I've travelled to, I've had the experience where the police are very dodgy, where they accept bribes and they actually demand money from people. So, for example, one time I was in a country where in a rickshaw, and the police stopped the rickshaw. Sorry, a rickshaw is a three-wheeled taxi or a cab. Cab is a taxi in Australia. A three-wheeled taxi. The police stopped the taxi or the cab or rickshaw, as it's known in that country, and they demanded that the cab driver, the taxi driver, gave him all of his pay for the day. So the poor taxi driver was basically robbed by the police or the cops of his earnings for the day. So this cop was very dodgy, very corrupt. So also in some countries, the politicians or pollies, you could call them in Australia, are also dodgy and corrupt. They rob basically the people of their money and keep it for themselves. And we made a couple of questions talking about to talk about this situation. So here they are. I've just written them down. I'll just check them. Here we go. So the police. The questions we wrote: are the police or cops in your home country dodgy? Are they corrupt? Are the cops dodgy? Which means are the police corrupt? And we got some answers from that, different answers from different countries. So this one's like Australia these days. One answer was no, most of the police, most of the cops are not corrupt. They're not dodgy. They don't take bribes. They're honest. They're trustworthy, which in Australia, you can actually go and approach the police. They're very approachable. They're very helpful, very friendly, and they're doing a great job. The second answer was, yes, most of the cops, most of the police are dodgy. They're corrupt. They accept bribes. It's very common in some countries for the police to be dodgy, for them to be corrupt. Okay. And the third answer was a mixture, basically. They said that in some provinces, which means like areas, in Australia we have states, not provinces, but in some provinces the police are corrupt. In the areas further away from the big cities, the police tend to be more dodgy, more corrupt, because then they're not in such great view of the government. They're further away, so they can escape. They escape being watched by the government. So that's it for today. The first two meanings of the word dodgy. Look forward to catching up with you the next time to explain the other meanings of the word dodgy. Have a great afternoon. Take care. See you later. Bye.